Hi everybody, welcome to Dishing Disability with Karyn Laura. And I am Karyn Laura, and I know it's been a minute since I posted an episode, but as John Lennon said, life happens. We're busy making other plans, and I got very busy with personal things. But I am back today with a brand new episode and video for all of you. And in this video, I'll be talking about ableism. So let's get right into it. What is ableism? Ableism is the discrimination or prejudice against individuals with disabilities. And ableism is definitely prevalent in the life of people with disabilities. And I've experienced a lot of ableism throughout my life. However, a blatant example of ableism would be the killing of people with mental or intellectual disabilities by police. I know that police are not typically trained to deal with people with disabilities. They should be though. They need to be. Because according to an article I found online, which I will link down below, it's most likely that 1/3 to 1/2 of total police killings are people with disabilities. That's a lot. That's too many. It should not be that way. And it is that way because people do not consider us. They do not consider people with disabilities. We are usually an afterthought. Another blatant example of ableism would be an inaccessible building. Let's say the building has no ramp, or the ramp is in the back, next to the garbage cans, or maybe the elevator buttons are not in braille. That's inaccessible and that's ableist. And in a lot of cases, when it comes to inaccessibility, it usually takes somebody with a disability to point out the inaccessibility. Sometimes it is changed. Sometimes it is not. Another example of ableism is, I think, the fact that people feel as if they could come up to us at any time and say anything they want. For example, they have come up to me and been like, "Oh, it's so good to see you out about." Now, I know they usually mean well when they say that. They're trying to be positive and encouraging and all that. I get that. However, it's very condescending to go up to somebody in a wheelchair or with a walker or on crutches and tell them that it's good to see them out and about. That's not okay. Because of course we're going to be out and about. We have lives. Or the other extreme would be people telling us that they'd rather be dead than have a disability. That's happened to me. I was out once with friends, and my friend's boyfriend told me that he'd rather be dead than have a disability. And honestly, I don't know what I said now. I forget what I responded, but we were all taken back by it. I know it's not okay for him to say it. But again, people feel as if they can say anything to us, and that's not right. But why do people feel this way toward us? Why do people think that it's okay for them to say anything they want to us? Why is that? I think it's because we are portrayed in the media as either inspirational and courageous or as depressed and gloomy. And those two things are not the only things that we feel. You know, there's a lot of us who just want to live their lives like anybody else and live their best lives as best we can. And there are a few TV shows that are popping up, like the show called Speechless that was on ABC for 4 seasons, I believe. And it starred Micah Fowler, who played JJ, the male, who had cerebral palsy and who was nonverbal, who used a communication device to talk. And it was a really good show, and they made JJ a typical teenager turning 18. Typical teenage things like drinking, getting drunk, getting in trouble, things like that. And that was a really good show. And then there's another show on Netflix too that is trying to show people with disabilities just trying to live their lives like anybody else. The Upside is a really good movie about a quadriplegic man who was depressed, yes. And then he hires a new caregiver and his life changes for the better. And that was a good movie too. Really funny with Kevin Hart playing the caregiver. Really, really funny movie. Check it out if you haven't already. You know what? I also think that it's ableist to think that people with disabilities are somehow special. That's not okay with me. Anyway, I am no more special than anybody else. Alright? Yes, I have different needs, but they're not special needs per se. They're just different needs. What needs to change? Well, people with disabilities, we need to keep speaking up when we see inaccessibility or injustice. And we need to keep demanding our rights. How do we do this? We do this by speaking up. We do this by keeping our issues in the forefront and reminding people that we do exist and that we have a right to be here and we have a right to our rights. And we need to keep protesting and demonstrating and demanding equality. And equality is kind of an illusion, I believe, because I don't think we will ever be truly, truly equal. And I say that because there are a lot of able-bodied people out there, particularly politicians, who will always fight against us. There will always be some politicians that try to dismantle our protections, like the ADA. Trump has tried to chip away at the ADA. He's made it harder for people with disabilities to sue businesses that are not accessible. The biggest obstacle that we have to fight is people's attitudes toward us. As long as people don't like us for whatever reason, we'll always be around. We're always gonna have to fight against them to keep demanding our rights, and we need to keep being in the forefront to remind people, politicians, that we exist and that we deserve to be here and that we deserve protections. We deserve really to be accessible. We deserve that. We have a right to go into buildings. But we need to keep fighting and keep protesting and demonstrating and fighting for our rights. Have you ever dealt with ableism? If yes, how did you handle it? What do you think of ableism? Do you think it's prevalent in our life? Let me know what you think. And thank you for watching. Until next time, my friends, keep rolling.